The iPhone 5C, the more affordable of Apple's latest offerings, still isn't as inexpensive as some analysts had hoped it would be. Apple CEO Tim Cook gave an interview with Businessweek published Thursday. His message to the disappointed Apple watchers? Sorry. There's always a large junk part of the market. We're not in the junk business, he said. I'm not going to lose sleep over that other market because it's just not who we are. Cook said it was never Apple's objective to compete with the lower end of the smartphone market. Instead, he wanted to continue focusing Apple's efforts on an experience that retained the quality and polish Apple is known for. Analysts and investors had expected a mid-range device to appeal to emerging markets like China. When the 5C was revealed to be only $100 cheaper than the new top-end 5S, Apple's stock faltered. At $549 off contract, the 5C is still largely unaffordable in countries like China, which doesn't get the subsidies of carriers to help offset the price of phones. Instead, VentureBeat says it costs close to a month's salary for the average Chinese citizen. Cook also spoke about threats to Apple's business from other sectors, including Microsoft's hardware business and Android's reach across the mobile software space. Cook pointed to Microsoft's recent acquisition of Nokia as an example of how competitors are trying to emulate Apple's top-down strategy, controlling both its software and the hardware it runs on. Everybody is trying to adopt Apple's strategy. I think it does suggest that there's a lot of copying, kind of on the strategy, and that people have recognized that importance. But Cook suggested making the most of that strategy is easier said than done. That's why he doesn't consider Android a threat to Apple's mobile momentum. He said Android is so fragmented and out of date that everyone from developers to end users lose out. People can quickly end up using software that's several years old. That would be like me right now having in my pocket iOS 3. I can't imagine it. For Newsy, I'm Megan Murphy.